All right. I think we are live. Chris, are we live?
It looks like we are. Let me double check. Usually it takes a minute for the full mobile feed to kick over,
Well, I
but
know that there's already people in the chat, so I think we are live there. So if you guys are just tuning in, actually that was quicker. I just heard the other feed come over. So let me go ahead and X off of that thing there. Yeah, so if you guys are just tuning in here or coming into the room, get yourself situated, get yourself comfortable. Maybe you can put your first name and where you're tuning in from in the chat box. That would be pretty cool. We can go ahead and give you a little shout out and say hello. This is going to be, I'm pretty sure it's going to be a pretty packed house, which is pretty awesome. It's been about a couple weeks since we've done one of these. Actually, it's been longer on that as far as the product research. So that's what we're going to be talking about tonight, and actually going through those three steps to identify good products. So this way here, you have a better chance of launching, and you don't have to worry so much about this whole new review change and everything. And we'll talk about all that stuff. Yeah, really excited you guys are here. Like I said, we are live. So if you guys are here on a Thursday night, then you're here live. So want to say welcome. I want you guys to also imagine that you guys are hanging out with us in a live room like you are, but you're virtual. But I want you guys to imagine you guys are in the room with us right now. We are actually hanging out. We're going to be discussing this at length here, and I'm going to walk you through exactly what we are doing and also what we recommend moving forward. And a lot of questions usually come up, and we'll be answering them during and after the workshop. So excited to have you guys. So Chris Schaefer, if you guys don't know, good friend of mine, also partner of mine. He is here to help out tonight in the chat and with everything else, because he's just a huge help and a ton of knowledge. So Chris, what's up, man?
not too much, brother. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm fired up as usual, enjoying this South Carolina weather. It's December 1st, and I think today I was still in shorts, and it was like 64, 65. So I'm not complaining.
I was laughing this morning because it was 58, I think, when I woke up this morning. And I said, oh, that's so cold. And then I went, no, it's really not.
Really
It was
not.
so chilly outside. I felt like I had to wear a
sweatshirt. Yeah. So maybe you can run through the chat and how that's going to work real quick.
Yeah, guys, if you have not been on a workshop with us before, and it looks like 75% of you have not, which is really kind of cool. We always like new guys, but we love the people that are coming back as well. If you haven't, what we like to do is we like to leave the chat open throughout the entire thing. If you haven't found it, it's the thing along the right-hand side of your screen that's scrolling by real fast. Everybody lets us know who they are and where they're tuning in from. Directly at the bottom of that feed that's moving, there's a place where you can write a message. Right now, like I said, we're asking you to let us know where you are and who you are. Once we get rolling, if you have any questions at any point, leave them in that chat, and we will mark them as questions. We're going to answer those one of three ways as we work our way through the content here tonight. The first, if it's a very easy thing that I can answer very quickly, I'll type a chat response back to you. The second is going to be if it's something that I think will benefit a bunch of different people, or it's something that pertains to a section that we just covered. We will take a couple small breaks so Scott can take a sip of water and we can answer a couple questions in those small breaks. And the last is we do like to do a long form Q&A at the end. So if we haven't gotten to your question during the content, we will get to it at the end. And we like to save some of the longer answers for those as well. Some of the things that maybe will benefit from Scott and I tossing it back and forth. Occasionally we disagree. It's not all that common, but it does happen. So stay tuned for that as well.
Yeah, it doesn't happen much, but it does happen. And that's cool.
I wanted to cover one other thing. If you guys are having any audio or video issues, go ahead and use the reconnect button first. If that doesn't work, go ahead and let me know. Lars says the sound is crazy. I'm hearing double everything. Lars, make sure you don't have a second tab open.
Yeah.
Sometimes they'll be a split second behind each other, and you'll hear them twice that way as well.
Yeah, that can happen. That's a good point. If you have two tabs open that you opened the workshop, you may hear that. So definitely make sure that that's not happening. Let's give some shout outs here. We've got Fred from Virginia Beach. What's up, Fred? We've got Tracy from Pittsburgh, Rusty from Alabama. Let's see. We've got Gavin from Vancouver. Looks like let's see. Let's see. Debbie from Dallas, Jake from New Mexico. Is it Marca from Indianapolis? Lars, okay, says the sound is a little crazy. Okay, we just addressed that. We hope. Carl from Chicago, Vicky, Denver, Mike, it's already done. What's up? Rob, let's see. Olga from Texas, Willie from White House. Okay. Sorry. Okay. Good. Yeah. So Lars figured that out. Cool. Paul says 2 a.m. in UK. What's up, Paul? Thanks for joining us. Mike says, okay, Scott. Okay. Let's see. Rudy, California. Dave, Eugene says, your #1 fan. Eugene, you rock it, man. Let's see. Fred in Texas. Let's see. Bob says, hey, Scott from Syracuse, New York. That's my old neck of the woods. Not far. About an hour and a half from where I used to live. Let's see. Nikia, Champagne. Let's see. Lauren. I have a bad connection. Here's another thing, guys. If you guys are having any issues, make sure that your tabs are shut down as far as like you don't have a lot of things running on your computer. Also, if you have kids or if someone else is in your house and they're pulling data from your Wi-Fi, it's going to drain the data. I always tell everyone the night of my workshop, no internet, like none on the Wi-Fi. Like, I know, just go to bed, like read a book, something, right? So you definitely just want to make sure that stuff isn't happening because that will draw some of the bandwidth when we're doing this. When we get off a video, we're still going to be on video, but not us personally. We're going to go over to our slides, and then that may actually make it a little bit better because it won't be trying to process us moving around. Tom from Toronto. What's up, Tom? Let's see. Roman from Israel. Nice. Nicholas from Cleveland. What's up, Nick? Let's see. Who else we got? We got Hernando from West Palm Beach, Florida. What's up? Let's see, Christine from Chicago. Vince, he says your quality is exceptional, Chris. What cam are you using?
You should know because you just
It's the Logitech, but I'm not sure the brand. I'm using a different one because I can't get that one to work good for me. I'm still working.
All I did was plug mine in and turn it on. That's so
yeah, great. But you had your lighting. You got your big old soft boxes over there.
Because otherwise it's a cave in here.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, Derek, go Irish. Nathan, Nebraska. Diana from where is that? Sri Lanka? Sri Lanka? Oh, Sri Lanka. Okay, I didn't see. I see all the explanation points. Mac, 9 a.m. in Thailand. Whoa. All right, cool. We got a bunch of you rolling in. We're almost at about 200 in the room already, which I think it's going to even get more people in than that. But let me just kind of go over really quick here because we're going to try to start right on time, 9:00 p.m. Eastern time. Want to let you guys know if you guys are here to really understand product research and market research, because that's really what we're going to be talking about. And one of the big things that a lot of people want to know is like, how do I launch products now since Amazon is kind of different than it was maybe a year ago? We are going to address that, but it does all come down to product research. If you find products that are low competition, low reviews, and still get sales, that means demand, it's going to be easier to launch. We have a few examples of this, one personally, and also one that I'm going to share with you here tonight from someone that emailed me, and she's doing really well, and she's kind of done exactly what we're going to share with you here tonight. That's really the secret sauce, guys, is really figuring out how to find products that can sell without having to go out there and do these massive promos or do a ton of pay-per-click. So we're going to kind of dive into that stuff. If you guys have any questions, please ask them during and after. We're going to try to address the ones that pertain to what we're talking about at that time. And then any other ones we'll answer at the end, of course. Let's see. Who else we got here? It's like Mac. Okay, Thailand just said that. Joseph from Nevada.
Ooh.
What's that?
Mispronounced it, man.
I did?
Yeah. It's not duh. People from Nevada get very offended when you say Nevada. As someone who lived there for 5 years and never understood that, I figured I'd call you on it before we got too far down.
Brian just says garlic press. That's all. You got to love that. Yeah, so guys, we're also going to make this a little interactive too. So I'm going to be asking you some questions here and there. So I want you guys to also play along. I want you guys to be in that chat. All right. Now understand, you guys have a lot of people right now that are in the chat, maybe in the same kind of mindset that you are right now, maybe in the same stage that you are. By all means, introduce yourself. Definitely, we want this to be interactive, not just here, I guess, standing up on a stage and kind of just presenting. I want this to be interactive. I want you guys to play along as well. Tina wants to know, how long is the webinar? The webinar is generally about 60 minutes of the content, about another 30 minutes Q&A, depending. We've been known to go a little bit longer just because we want to make sure we answer any questions. And that this way here, you're not leaving with questions that you're like, well, he didn't mention that, or they didn't mention this. We want to make sure that we cover anything because we want this to be actionable. So when you get done with this workshop, you should be fired up and ready to go out there and attack this product research thing. That's what we want you to do. We want you to go out there and know exactly what to do, and at least give you something where tomorrow you can literally go and say, okay, Scott and Chris said these are the things that I should focus on. I'm going to focus on them. Like, I can't stress that enough. It's like so many people get so overwhelmed with all the things you can do. I want to give you guys actionable stuff that you can do now. Okay. So as soon as you get off of here, you can actually do it, or you can just, go to bed and then get up and then do it. Or maybe you have to work, so maybe do it after work. But definitely we want something where you can actually go out there and do it. Chris, you want to talk about the chat real quick before we jump into the actual workshop material?
Yeah, and while I'm doing that, I'm going to pull up those slides and see if they work for you.
Absolutely.
All right. So guys, in case you missed it just a little bit earlier, the way that the chat works is it is the box located along the right-hand side of the screen. If you haven't seen it yet, it's the one that's kind of flashing by while everybody types in it. We do like to leave that live throughout the entire workshop here tonight so that you can ask us any questions that you have at any point throughout. Remember, there's no such thing as a stupid question. If you have it, if you think it, ask it in the chat. We will answer all of those, as many of those as we possibly can. One of three ways. The first way is going to be I can respond to you very quickly in the chat. The second, we do like to take a couple small breaks, like the one we just took where I interrupted Scott drinking water. We like to do a little bit of that as well, and we'll answer some quick questions in those small breaks. And the last one is the long-form Q&A that we talked about at the end. We'll answer anything that we haven't answered yet and anything you guys can think to throw at us in that section as well. Scott, it looks like you are good to go, my friend.
Are we good to go?
We are good to go.
Good, good. I like that. All right, guys. So we are officially going to kick this thing off 9:01. I think that's pretty good. We're starting on time just about. I know we're going to have people coming in a little bit late. That's just the way it works every single time we do this, and that's okay. But I'm going to get you guys kind of like right on track as far as where we're going to go with this tonight. All right. This is what we are talking about. Now, you may have heard about other people saying like, oh, I'm going to show you how to go out there and make $1 million on Amazon, right? That's possible, but let's start somewhere, right? Let's start with this right here, because if we can take these baby steps and achieve this right here, it's going to make it a lot easier to keep moving forward, okay? So what I want to share with you here tonight is how to find current products that make $100 profit per day on Amazon alone, okay? And you can do this even if you've never sold a product online before. Okay, I get a lot of people that say, well, Scott, I'm not technically, I don't have like a lot of technical background. And that's okay. That's what's great about this. But this, we want a goal and we want something to shoot for. And that's what I'm going to be showing you here tonight. Now, we have given you this. If you guys signed up to join this workshop, you probably received some emails. Well, in one of those emails, there was this. If you didn't download it, we're going to put that in the chat so you can download it now. Definitely do that. It's going to make everything clearer once you start going through it, whether it's now or even later. Definitely download it, okay? But we're going to give you guys this way here. You can kind of have that to walk you through. Now, our chat today is going to be me showing you the 3-step process that I've used to help find my first product and generate $118,000 in 6 months on Amazon.com. Now, I don't say that to brag. I don't say that to, like, oh, look at me. What I'm doing is I'm showing you that's a validation point that I used myself personally, okay? It's like, yes, you can say, let's do this, but we have to actually have something that we can say, okay, yeah, it did work, okay? And really, I boiled it down to 3 steps, okay? And since launching, I've actually tweaked that, and I'm going to share with you some of those tweaks here, okay? But this is what I'm going to be sharing with you here tonight. Now, what holds most people back, really, is this is what they say to themselves. I don't have any experience selling online. Or Amazon is oversaturated with products. Or I'm afraid of picking the wrong product. You may have already said that to yourself. A lot of people do. You're not alone. I'm going to lose money. Or I don't have enough time. That's a big one. I don't have enough time. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about time. That, to me, that's an excuse. And I'm gonna share with you why that's not really the issue. Okay. But the fear is usually this. This is why we come up with excuses, because we don't want to fail, right? We don't want to fail. There's 2 choices that we have, guys, and I want you guys to really, really pay attention to this. 97% of the people who quit too soon are employed by the 3% that never gave up. What's that mean? Well, we've got Camp A that They go out there, they try a business venture, they so-called fail, which they just stop trying, and then they go work for someone, okay? And then there's 3% that just keep pushing through, keep hustling, keep grinding. Those are the people that get to that level, right? And there's nothing wrong with working for someone. Just understand there's two different mindsets and there's two different types of people, okay? And it's up to us to decide which one we want to be, okay? Now, here's a little fact, all right? I'm just a regular guy that decided to try this Amazon business. I've done other businesses. I still have other businesses. And it's just, this is something I just really need to highlight. I'm nothing special, okay? I have never attended a day in college. I'm not necessarily saying that to like say, oh, look at me, like, you know, I'm not educated. I'm educated in other ways that I'm out there just kind of figuring it out as I go. I've always been a learner like that. I've been someone that just goes out there and takes action and learns from those results, okay? But just understand, you don't have to have this massive degree in order to succeed in this business. You need some experience and you need some guidance, okay? My story though, really, my why, and I think everyone should have their why, okay, for me is my family, okay? I've got my wife here, Lisa, of 22 years now, which is crazy that we've been married that long. It went by so fast. I've got 3 kids, actually 4 kids. I have my dog Brody there in the middle, as you can see. If you guys have listened to podcasts, you know he's a pretty big part of our lives. But you got like things like the basketball games. I don't miss them, right? Rolling sugar cookies, which we're going to be doing that here in the next couple weeks because Christmas is coming, right? So all of these things I'm able to do because I built a lifestyle business that allows me to do it in everything that I've done, okay? I had to share this because Brody, he's my other son, my other kid. We get to answer emails in the morning. He usually listens to all the podcasts. He's just a great son, but he also could probably launch his own product. I can almost guarantee that. He just can't talk or type that well. But my business journey, guys, really looks like this. And I'm not going to bore you with the details, but I want you guys to really know that you don't need any special skills. Okay. I was a construction worker right out of high school. I was brought into my father's business. It was a family run business. I soon learned a lot about business, a lot about what to do and what not to do. It was a family business. We ran it really okay. We built it up to an over $2 million a year business. But then I started to see the writing on the wall. And I also was spending so much time, like 60+ hours a week. I never got to see my new daughter at the time. Now she's 21. But my wife and I decided we were going to try to start our own business. So we started our own photography business. Knew nothing about photography, by the way. We just had a passion for it. We started that. Fast forward 18 months after we started it, we turned that into a full-time business. I left my job and we did that for over, I think it was 9 years now. And then from there, I started teaching people about what I was doing online. And then I was selling also my templates and my photography stuff, my lessons and Photoshop tutorials, all that stuff. And then I started dabbling with this Amazon thing most recently a couple years ago. And that's where we are today, right? But again, you can see these are different things that I learned along the way by going out there and taking action and figuring out how I can go out there and become an entrepreneur. That's really what it's all about. And there's all different types of business models. This is just one that we're going to be talking about tonight. And, you know, even if I just give you the model and you say, nah, then you know what? That's okay. At least I showed you exactly what it is. All right. The bottom line is, guys, if I'm at a party, I'm usually talking to people about this stuff because it just, people seem like it's fascinating to them and they just want to listen. And I love talking about it. I love helping people. But my goal really is to give you the tools and the plan to succeed. That's what I want to do. So let's do a little myth busting right now. Myth number 1, and this is what a lot of people think, is you need to place a big order to get started in this business because it is a physical products business. And that's wrong, okay? And I'm going to show you why here. Myth number 2, you need to do big giveaways and launches, especially since they did this most recent update. People got all scared. Oh no, what are we going to do? That's a myth. You do not have to do that. Myth number 3 is you need to spend a ton on sponsored ads and pay-per-click. Again, it's a myth, and you'll see why. Once we figure out product research and how to find products that have low competition, low reviews, it makes the process a lot easier, okay? Now, if you know how to choose the right markets and products, this will become easier, okay? Now, I say easier lightly because nothing is easy. It's still going to require work, okay? This is not get-rich-quick thing, all right? Now, I needed to share this with you really quick. You may have picked this up from an email that I sent out today about Amy, okay? Amy had emailed me this, and she wrote this title: no pay-per-click, no giveaways, no reviews, sold 30 units a day. And I was like, holy crap, like I got to talk to her. So she reached out to me, and then we got a conversation going, and she literally found a product. After trying other products, she found a product by going through a really basic strategy, which I'm going to share with you. And now she's doing, well, the last I checked, she's doing more than 30 units a day, but she's doing really, really well. But her simple strategy is this, and it's very similar to what we're going to share with you here tonight. One, locate a good market. This is something we call a touch list, and there's a strategy that you can find this good market is by using your touch list, and that's what she did, and I'm going to share that strategy here in a second. 2, low reviews. 3, good demand, sales. 4, launch low quantity. Okay, so this way here you're not putting a ton of money out there. And then 5, buy more if it sells. Okay, that's what she did. And she used AliExpress to do it. Now, I'm not going to get into sourcing and everything here tonight. That's a whole nother phase. We're going to talk about product research, but just to understand, she's not even going out there and finding any like major manufacturers. She's more or less like retail arbing in a sense, which they call that retail arb, which isn't really that important right now. But understand, she's not going out there and really reinventing a product. Okay, she's testing the market. So why do I do this? Okay, well, because I get emails like that from Amy, and I also get them here from like Ian, right? He's one of our students in our class, and he wrote this to me, and it still gives me goosebumps. I just got to read this to you really, really quickly. Today, my alarm went off at 5 a.m. to go to work. I was already up working at my new job, private labeling. I promptly deleted that alarm from my phone because last week was the last days at the job I've been going through for 16 years. I quit because I could, and I was tired of it. Working with my wife, we have replaced that income and then some. Keep going, everyone. It's a great feeling. Like that still gets me fired up because you know what? That's life-changing. My mission is to help as many people as I can start their own online business because there's a lot of people out there that think that you have to go so big and it becomes overwhelming. All right. I need you to pay attention though. All right. What I'm going to be sharing with you, I want you to imagine that you paid money to attend. You did not, but I want you to pretend that you did because people, when they pay money to attend something, they normally pay attention more, right? I want you to imagine that you're in a room together with us here tonight, which you are virtually, but let's just go ahead and really pay attention. You owe it to yourself to really pay attention and then take action on what you learn. Okay. And if you stay to the end, we're going to give you guys some downloads for some checklists and some, we're going to give you some checklists and some downloads. So this way here, you can kind of go through that step. We have step 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 through the launch phase, but we're not going to cover all of them, but we're going to give them to you anyway. All right. Now what makes this different? Okay. I get a lot of people say, okay, Scott, there's a lot of webinars and workshops out there. What makes it different? Well, I've done this myself, number one. Okay. I validated it myself. Okay. And you can see here on a 12-month report, that's my validation. My validation was, okay, cool. This actually does work. I should probably pay attention to it. But the other cool thing is I've helped other people. And it really starts with picking the right products or understanding how to pick the products. I get a lot of people that email me and they actually share the product with me, which a lot of times I don't want them to, but they do. And a lot of times it's the ones that they're out there. We don't want to go after the ones that everyone else is selling. All right. And these guys here are just a handful of people that I've helped. And it's just really, really rewarding to be able to do that. The podcast was really created for a few different reasons. I want to touch on this real quick because some people ask me this. It was really out there to help me grow as a business owner in this space, but also to reach other people that could help me through this, but then also help other people. All right. That's what the podcast has done for me. My whole thing in life has really been about how can I help other people? Because if I can help other people, I know then I'll receive on the other end. It's just human nature, just the way it works. Okay. Now, the other reason is because I was able to be up there with some of the people that I looked up to, like Pat Flynn. I was just recently on his podcast as a guest. Actually, we did like an episode with like 12 other entrepreneurs. It was kind of like, what would you do differently if you were starting over? So it was really awesome. It was an honor. Ryan Daniel Moran of Freedom Fastlane, Steve Chu of My Wife Quit Her Job, just a bunch of other great people that I'm able to rub elbows with and then learn from, but then also now help other people that might not have even heard of these people. So it's just really, really awesome to be able to do that. Chris and I really love hanging out with people like you, like we did here at our TAS event here in Texas. We did this one here in Denver. And oh, by the way, there's Chris Schaefer. So if you guys don't know Chris, you guys will, if you guys came in late, you might not know Chris, but he's a good friend of mine, but he's also very, very knowledgeable in this space, and he's going to be here to help us as well. But helping others get results is the ultimate payoff for us. It really, truly is. And this one here is really recent. Jarrett, he actually is one of our students, but he also came to 2 of our live events. And when he came to our first live event, he didn't even have his product launched yet, and he was really just all over the place, didn't know where to even start. And he left there with a really clean path. And then he started doing really good. And this is most recent, and he's crushing it this 4th quarter. But he started right where you are right now with nothing, right? With no product maybe, okay? So understand that you have to do something. You have to take action. You have to get out there and see what works and what doesn't work, and you have to be willing to pivot and make changes. But I've made mistakes, and people that I've taught have made mistakes, but I'm going to be able to show you how you can avoid them. It's kind of like a way for you to cheat in a sense, okay? But you're not going to get in trouble for it, right? But a big tip is this, okay? Big tip, big takeaway right here. Product research is key to being successful. All right. If you can find products that fall within, the range of what we're going to talk about here, okay, you're going to have a better chance of succeeding. Okay. I'm going to share with you the same 3-step formula, okay, that I share with those people, but then I also use myself. Okay. Now I have a quick question for you. This is where I said in the beginning, I want you guys to pay, to play along. Okay. I want you to pay attention, but I want you to play along here. Okay. So get ready. Okay. I want you to answer this in the chat. All right. I want you to imagine, okay, having your first product picked and selling $100 per day on Amazon.com right now. Like you're selling $100 profit per day. You're putting $100 in your pocket, $100 bill, okay? I want you to imagine what that would feel like, okay? If we multiplied that out for 30 days, it's easy, right? $3,000 a month. What would an extra $3,000 a month do for you right now, or $100 per day? Let us know in the chat. Put it in there. We want to see it. I want other people in the chat to see it, because I think this is really, really powerful for you to understand what you're doing this for. Because I can show you all this stuff, but if you don't really know what you're doing it for, you may run into an obstacle and then you're just going to back off of it because the obstacle's there, right? But if you know your why, it's going to push you further and it's going to bust through that barrier and then get you to that next level, okay? Now, I want you to take it a step further. I want you to imagine having your second and third product picked and selling $100 per day each on those. So now we're way up there now, right? $300 per day, $9,000 per month. That's life-changing for a lot of people. $100 a day is life-changing for a lot of people. Let us know in the chat, what would that do for you right now, your personal situation? Like right now, like put it in there, get real with it, play along. I want you guys, again, to get real with this, okay? I really, really do. There's something that I'm going to be sharing with you called the 10 by 10 by 1 strategy. Now, you may have heard of this. You may not have. If you haven't, well, I'm going to share that with you tonight. And if you have, well, I'm going to share it with you again, and hopefully it'll sink in. All right. 10 by 10 by 1 strategy. Now, a little disclaimer here. Okay. I have to say this because most people, they take information, they do zero with it. Okay. So I have to say results are not typical. Okay. It's just the way it works. I'm sorry. All right. But it's up to you if you want to get results, right? Take the stuff that we're teaching and just apply it, and you have a better chance than if you didn't apply it, right? But I'm going to walk you through specific steps and systems that are earning me money right now. But I have to say, my results are certainly not typical, okay? I just have to say that, all right? Now, again, I'm happy to show you exactly what's working for me, all right, for free here tonight. But this is not a get-rich-quick thing, okay? Or if you're thinking that it's like you're going to, you might have heard people say, oh, you just got to go out there and in a week you're going to have, money pouring into your bank account. No, wrong. That doesn't happen. That's not here. That's not going to happen. I don't know a business model that does happen, okay? All right, so now that we got that out of the way, I'm about ready to jump in. I love this picture. I hope this gets you excited. I hope this picture gets you excited. It reminds me of my kids when they were little, jumping into that pool at the hotel. But again, I want you guys to remember, we're talking about Amazon because Amazon is a great platform to start. It doesn't mean that's where we're finishing. It means that's where we're going to start, because it takes a lot of the obstacles out of the way. And that's what we're going to be sharing with you. Now, there are some reasons why I love selling on Amazon first, okay? There's 5 of them. I'm going to go over them real quick. 1, traffic. They got a ton of traffic, 244 million customers. I think there's more now. 2, no fancy website. You don't need one, okay? No shopping carts, no warehouse, and no employees. And there's more benefits, but those are the 5 top ones, okay? It takes a ton of the obstacles out of the mix. So, okay, let's just kind of go through this real quick before we dive into the product research. I want you guys to understand this too. Some of you are new. I think when we first did the poll, there was over 75% of you that are new. What I want to do here is just get you guys caught up to speed really, really quick, okay? Fulfilled by Amazon. It sounds basic to a lot of us, but there's a lot of people that don't know what that still means, but I want to also give you the outline of the model, okay? So Fulfilled by Amazon is exactly that, FBA, okay? You ship product to them. Amazon picks and packs products. They ship to your customer. They handle customer service. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Now, why FBA is the bomb to me? Well, it's very, very easy to figure that out. You don't need to store the inventory. They handle the shipping. They handle the refunds and the service, and there's no need to hire employees, okay? Now, you may have sounded similar to the last one, but it's the truth. That's exactly why it gets me excited. This is the closest thing to a digital product I've ever seen, and I've done both, okay? Because they do a lot of the work. The basic FBA flow looks like this. You ship products to Amazon, customer buys product, Amazon packs and ships, and you get paid. right? That's the basic FBA flow. Now there's things that happen in between there, but that's the flow of how it works, okay? Now there's 3 types of products you can source. There's wholesale, there's retail arbitrage, and there's private label. All right, now wholesale and retail arb, they're great for getting started. If you want to get started, very low risk, great ways, okay? But there are a couple problems with those, and that is you're usually selling brand names. You don't own the product. Anyone can sell the same UPC. You're sharing the buy box. You're competing on price, and you're limited on inventory, meaning something like retail arb would be if you bought 10 items at a discount at Target and you resold them. Once those 10 are gone, you're done. You got to go find 10 more. It makes sense, right? It's a great way to start, though. If you have very little budget, I would start there because you're going to learn the process. Now, private labeling products is a lot better because you own the product, you're the manufacturer, you customize the product, you can customize the packaging, you own the buy box, and you control the inventory. Controlling the inventory is huge, guys. If you find something that sells really well, guess what? You just order more, right? It's not like finding that item in Target that you find 10 units and then you sell those 10 and you got to go find 10 more. It's really, really great. Now, I want you to stay to the end because we're going to do live Q&A. You're going to have questions. I know you are, and I'm willing to answer them, and so is Chris. We're going to give you some checklists and some templates to download. I'm also going to give you some details on how you can win a 30-minute coaching call with me, an Amazon $50 gift card, and a free license to Jungle Scout, which is a research tool in product research, okay? So the other thing I want to just mention here is at the very end, because I get a lot of people that ask me about it, we do have a class. I will be giving you additional information about some of the training that we offer, but that'll be at the end. But just to be clear with that, okay, I am going to share that with you and kind of give you a little behind the scenes look at that. All right, so Chris, are we ready to dive in? I'm ready to rock and roll.
It looks like we are, and the chat room is rolling, and we got some really cool answers. I love when you asked that question. I've said it before on these because, you know, what would one product that does this change your life? And we always get different stuff, especially when we have, you know, a larger group of newer sellers or potential sellers on here. We got everything from, you know, it could help me live like a king in Thailand, to it would help me buy a house, it would help me pay off my mortgage, to the ones, you know, it would help me spend more time with my baby. And there's always just some that stick out to me. So I love hearing that question and seeing that question. And Rose tonight said, and I can go on a cruise instead of sitting here listening to this. So Rose, we love you.
Yes.
Thanks for hanging out with us tonight, and hopefully you can walk away with everything you need to find that product, so you don't have to come back and listen again.
Yeah, no, you know, I love reading those as well, because I think it's, you know, I think we all need to get clear with that. And if that's the only thing you take away from this is figuring out your why, that is a very, very powerful mental state to be in, because you actually understand what you're doing it for. All right, let's get rocking and rolling here. Let's get into this. All right, so the product launch process looks like this, and we're not going to go through these 5. We're going to go through the 1, but I just need to outline these for you. Okay. There's product selection, which we're going to talk about here tonight. There's product sourcing. There's the pre-launch phase, the launch phase, and the product promotion phase. Most people, when they look at this, they're like, oh my gosh, I don't want to worry about all that stuff. You don't have to. All we're going to focus on here tonight is product selection, okay? And that's basically product, you're going to be able to do your product research and your product discovery, as we call it. That's where we're going to start. That's where I want you to start, okay? Do not jump ahead. Don't worry about the sourcing. Don't worry about the pre-launch. We're worrying about product selection right now, okay? So here we go, guys. Ready? Phase 1, product selection. That's the phase we're in. That's where we're going to stay. Follow this 3-step process. Here they are. Product discovery, product criteria, product validation, okay? Each one of those we're going to break down. Those are very, very critical. And if you understand those, you're almost going to be running a product through a filter system and then see what it comes out at the end. And we're going to give you some ways where you can kind of see all of the different points that you got to look at, all right? So step number 1 is product discovery. And this should be fun too, by the way, guys. You should have fun with this, all right? So your daily touch list. I talked about that earlier with Amy. She found her product that she's selling right now through her daily touch list. I have another gentleman in my class, name is Bill, who also, his wife found their product that they're selling by using the daily touch list method. And what this really is you want to have a notepad, literally a piece of paper or a notepad by your bedside with a pen, and you want to write down every single thing you touch on a daily basis for that entire day. Maybe do it for 2 days, okay? Your daily touch list. Maybe you do one and your husband or wife does one, vice versa, whatever, right? Do that. Daily touch list. Really, really powerful. Browse eBay. eBay's a buyer's search engine, guys. A buyer's search engine. That means people are going there to buy product. browse Amazon. Of course, we're going to actually spend a little bit of time there in a minute. I'm going to show you how they leave a ton of clues for us to look at, okay, right on their site. QVC, HSN TV, again, a buyer's network, right? For buyers, they built this platform to sell product to customers, okay? So we want to pay attention to them. Late night infomercials, again, they spend millions of dollars on infomercials. Listening to conversations, magazine ads, or magazines themselves. Magazines are built for a market, or a market that has a passion. Well, let's just say that you are looking at a fishing magazine. Well, they sell fishing products in there in different ads. We can pay attention to that. We're thinking about the market and then the products that serve the market. Department stores, same thing, broken down into categories, and those categories are usually markets that we can serve products to. So that's, again, you can take this little bit right here, just start with the daily touch list, and you're off to the races. Like tomorrow, start that, like immediately. All right. Even if you already have a product right now launched on Amazon, do that. You'll be surprised at what you actually touch that you don't realize could be potentially something that you could sell. All right. So the second part of the product discovery is do this as well. We're going to write more lists. Okay. I hate to make you guys write, but I have to. All right. So your passions, your hobbies, and your problems. All right. Now, you can also do this with maybe your kids. Maybe your kids are at a different, they're at a different phase in their life or a different stage, right? So their passions, hobbies, or problems are going to be different. I know my son right now is 18 years old. His passion is basketball, right? My daughter, who's 9, her passions are piano. My other daughter, my 21-year-old, she's getting married. So that's something she's doing. And right now she's into that, right? So you just have to be creative with this stuff and just start thinking outside the box. Your hobbies, again, same thing, maybe fast forward, maybe rewind. Maybe your parents are a little bit older and they have different hobbies, passions, or problems, right? I know my father just had a hip replacement and he's got different problems than I do, but I wouldn't know about it if I didn't say, hey, what's his problem? So you have to kind of just look around you. Sometimes it's right in front of you. And again, you just want to do this exercise. I know everyone wants a tool, right? Everyone says, just give me a tool that makes that. No, this is your tool. Your brain is your tool, and the things that surround you are what you're looking for. All right. So just do this. Have fun with it. All right. So eBay, again, a buyer's search engine. Go to eBay, shop the categories, go into see all categories. You can look at trending collections. This, again, is built for customers. Okay. And all of the stuff that's put on the site is thought really, really long and hard about where to put it, and also the categories and the different items that are sold in the categories. They have tons and tons of data points. Okay, so just pay attention. Now, Amazon, we're going to kind of dig into here, obviously, because this is where we're going to initially start to sell product. So this is where we want to, get some clues. We want to see, like, okay, are there products here that can kind of come to the surface for me? So let's just say you went to your daily touch list, and let's say you went to Amazon. I'm just starting at the Amazon bestsellers list, but you don't have to start here. Some people start here, and that's where they try to find their product. That's also a mistake in my book, because if you go here, everyone's going here. You want to start drilling down deep inside of categories. All right, I'm going to show you an example here. So let's just say that you had something in home and kitchen that was on your touch list. So you'd go here, go into home and kitchen. And then you would then click into home and kitchen, the subcategories inside of there. So we have home and kitchen, kids, home store, kitchen and dining, bedding, bath. Maybe something was in bath that was on my list. So then I jump into bath. Then you can see another drop down comes in, and it's bathroom accessory sets, bathroom mirrors, bathtub accessories, cosmetic organizers, etc. So let's say that cosmetic organizers was something that was on my list or maybe close to my list. So I go ahead and I click on it. Now it brings me up to all of the results for Compact Organizer. Now here's the cool thing. You can get more ideas just by being aware of what's on that page in front of you. Now, Amazon's not showing you this stuff because you're someone that's looking to sell these products. They're showing you this stuff because you are a consumer, right? You're there searching for this product. So that tells them what else to serve you. You can get more ideas by doing this, guys, okay? Your related searches are put there because people have searched for them in the past when they do this one initial search. So that Compact Organizer search, it triggers them to put other things in front of your eyeballs because they know from past searches that people have bought stuff. These are really popular. So related searches would be drawer organizer, eyeshadow organizer, makeup organizer, etc. Okay, and just keep going. Now, the other thing you can do is just go to the search bar and just type in Compact Organizer. That's what we call a keyword. That would be your keyword. It's not brand. It's not like brand driven. It's just a compact organizer. It's generic, right? It's a keyword. Now, if we did that, we can then also hit the space bar once, like we're going to put in another character, and then we're going to see all of the top searches pop up. It's going to automatically just drop down. This is like a keyword tool built inside of Amazon that gives us, someone that's potentially going to enter this market, what are the popular searches, right? We're not looking at a tool. We're looking at Amazon internally, right? We want to know that. Like, that's the first thing. Well, Compact Organizer Planner, that's number one. Compact Organizer Binder, then Compact Organizer Travel, Compact Organizer Acrylic, etc. You get the idea, right? So we can get more ideas just by doing that. Now, another idea tip is to look at top rated products. So as you're on that page, you may see on the right-hand side, you might see top rated, or you might see hot new releases or most wished for. Do you think that you might, you might want to pay attention to that stuff? Like, they're putting it there because those are things that other people have searched for that purchased off of a certain search. It's really, really powerful, and it's right there in front of you. Another idea tip is to look at what other people have purchased after they viewed a certain item, or things that they viewed. So customers who viewed this item also viewed this. So that means they're interested in that. We can pretty much almost build out a product line by looking at what other people have viewed that are similar to that first search. So an example would be acrylic lipstick organizer, acrylic lip gloss organizer, acrylic eyeshadow organizer, acrylic paint pot cream shadow organizer, and acrylic eye lip liner organizer. They're all a little bit different, but they're all around the same theme. You see what I'm saying? So if one person bought the lip gloss organizer, they're probably going to need the eyeshadow organizer too, right? So it makes a really nice product suite, and they're giving us all that data right there. So Chris, do we have any quick questions before we jump into step 2?
Yeah, I think the one big one that I saw is we had a couple people that were confused about what a touch list is and how you go about getting one. So if you could take just 10 seconds and kind of recap that process for everybody. I think
absolutely. A touch list is going to be a notepad. Okay. So you go to your grocery store or go to Staples and you buy a notepad. Okay. About 50 cents. And then you buy a pen. And then you put that by your nightstand or your bed. And when you get up in the morning, you start writing every single thing that you touch. Every single thing that you touch. That's your touch list. All right. Everything. All the way from the spoon that you stirred your coffee with. Okay. So it's really, really powerful that you do that, because a lot of people don't realize they're just kind of going through the motions and don't realize what they're doing. And that could trigger either a product or a market. Okay. Does that make sense, Chris?
It does. And I think one of the things, and you touched on it a little bit when you talked about Bill, is like most people think that this is a stupid exercise, right?
Yep. It's too easy.
Right, it's too easy. There's no way that this could possibly work. And Rusty says, how does this type of research work when you're considering market saturation and competition? The beauty of it is, Scott, you and I probably have some very similar things on our desk right now, right? I have water bottles, I have tea, and I have, a mouse and keyboard. But I guarantee you there's some other things on my desk like Cholula and pecan thins that you don't have. Is that an accurate statement?
Accurate, yes.
Right. So no two people have the same things that they touch on a daily basis. There's going to be some overlap, and those are going to be the obvious things like coffee cup and garlic press. But non-slip cutting board might not be something that's on everybody's list.
Right.
Or, what's the beauty mirror? Right, those ones they have in really nice hotels that show you everything on your face, like the zoom in mirrors, those zoom mirrors. Not everybody's going to have one of those. So as you start to go through that, you kind of call that list down. You go, okay, well, that would be on everybody's, that would be on everybody's. But you do that and you let the numbers tell you that.
Right. Well,
rather than just making that assumption.
Yeah, and this is just getting you started. Then you're going to start drilling in. And when you start drilling in, that one idea can turn into something else once you start to drill down.
And that tends to be how people find products with them.
Exactly.
Go, oh, it's a coffee mug, but it's got rubber on the bottom. I wonder, and they go to Amazon, they go, oh, no one sells rubberized coffee mugs, or whatever it is.
Right.
That's a ridiculous product. Please don't go sell rubber coffee mugs.
Yeah, please don't.
Coffee would taste terrible. But you guys get the point. I think we're good to go if you want to go ahead and move on to the next section.
Yeah, let's jump in. And that's a great question, because that's not where you're stopping, right? Like that's discovery. We call that product discovery. Whether you use a tool or not, it's discovery. If you just think that first thing that you find is going to be the product, you're probably going to be disappointed, right? It's a way for us to get started, and then we can start to drill in. But the one thing we need to do now, once we kind of get a handful of these products that we think we might be able to to private label is we want to start looking at the criteria, okay, and see if it even makes sense to even consider going any further, right? It's going to help us not waste time. So the product criteria, and again, this is a big tip for you guys, okay? Model what's working. All right. A lot of people try to reinvent, or not even reinvent, invent a new wheel, right? You don't have to, right? Just figure out what's working and then model it and then make it better. All right. Now, I like to use this example because I watch Shark Tank. And if you don't, you should probably watch the show. Great show. But, you know, they always, they look at a product and they go, it looks great. I love it. Good style, great lunch pail, right? And then you'll hear them say, how many sales you got so far to date? Why are they saying that? Because they want them to say, hey, yeah, the market has said we like it, right? The market says we want this. But anytime that someone says, well, we don't have one, we have a prototype right now, it hasn't hit market yet. I've never, not that I can recall, of them saying, I'll do a deal. Okay, because they usually want to see sales, because if they don't see sales, they haven't validated the market, or it's going to be too hard to convince the market that they need it, right? So no sales usually equals no deal. Same thing should be on Amazon. Amazon is that market validation before you even roll out a product, all right? So what makes a good product? Well, product serves a market. I think that's key, okay? If it serves the market, meaning if a market wants it and needs it, then it's a good product, right? Retails for $19 to $45 or more, okay? And these are just guidelines. These are not like set in stone. Lightweight, less than 2 pounds, can fit in a shoebox generally is a good rule of thumb. And the reason is because this will allow you to avoid any more obstacles when you go to ship it. Because if you go to ship something bigger, then it's going to be more obstacles. And I don't have time tonight to go into all those obstacles, but they're there. So let's reduce those. Like let's get rid of those, okay? Reviews under 200 to 300, even less if we can, and then selling at least 10 per day, all right? Now my goal is really to get 10 product sales per day or more. That's what I like. Doesn't mean it has to be that, okay? It could be 8 as long as the profit margin is there, and if the demand is there and the depth is there, then maybe we'll still go for it, okay? But this is something I talked about at the beginning called the 10 by 10 by 1 strategy, and this is exactly how I look at it, okay? And this is how I think everyone should look at it, because it's not going to be so overwhelming, okay? But if you shoot for $10 profit after all expenses per unit, okay? So 10 sales, okay? 10 sales a day, $10 profit per sale, okay? One product, that's $100 a day. Pretty basic math, right? Like I said, you don't need a really huge degree here to understand this, right? So we have 10 sales a day, okay? We have $10 profit per sale, one product. It's $100 per day, okay? There's your $3,000 a month. Now, don't you think it'd be easier to kind of go after that and then say, now that we figured that out, we can then scale it? That makes sense to me, okay? Now, let's just take that example. Let's grow it to 5 products. That's $500 per day. Basic math again, right? So 365 days a year, it's $182,500 profit, okay? Or $15,000, a little over $15,000 per month. I did a little research. Most general practitioners, you know, doctors that check your throat and your ears and stuff, right? When you're sick, they generally about $150,000 to $175,000 a year, and they do a ton of schooling. Now we need doctors. If you want to be a doctor, hey, my hat's off to you, because we need you, right? But all I'm trying to say is you can really kind of break this thing down small, and then you can start to figure out how to scale it, okay? But $100 per day is, to me, is a great starting point, and it gets you to understand the process. So let's kind of dig into a little bit of what this will look like and what other things that we're going to look at on the surface, okay? So let's just say that we select this product to kind of use as an example, acrylic compact organizer, because that's what we used, right? You can see here we got the reviews. They're clearly marked for us, so we know how many reviews they have. We can even dive into those reviews, which I'll show you why in a second we want to do that. Price, $18.99. Okay, cool. It's in our $19 range. Product dimensions, it gives us our weight and size. We got that covered. And then we want to look at the top level category. And this is something that gets people really kind of confused, because they're wondering how many sales. How do you know how many sales? There's tools out there that allow us to see that, but there's also a little trick here I'll show you in a second that you can use to kind of get a really good idea of what they're selling. But in this case, if you're going with a top category, a top level category, if you get something that's 3,984 in beauty, I'm telling you right now, it's selling 10 a day. It's selling probably more than that, okay? But just understand that everything is there for us. Like, we don't have to guess, all right? So let me just show you too, like having a listing as far as like being optimized is another key point. So I'm going to look at products that are similar to the ones that I want to sell. And then I'm going to look and see if it's optimized. I'm going to see, is the title well optimized? Believe it or not, I've seen listings that are doing really well and they're not optimized. That's a good thing for us because that means we can do a better job. The images, we want to check those out. Okay, they're there for us to say, yes, they're good, or no, they're not that good. I could do better. Your bullet points, very, very important. But again, we want to look at these and see if they're optimized. If they're not, then good, we can do a better job. FBA or merchant fulfilled. This is something that if Amazon is fulfilling it, it's fulfilled by Amazon, right? We ship it into them, they fulfill it. If we fulfill it ourselves, that's fulfilled by merchant. Now, I can't prove this, but I have a good hunch that Amazon likes fulfilling their own orders, okay, because they can control the experience and they can get it there really quick, right? So they know that the customer's going to like it. I think that they're going to give us a little bit of a bump in rankings because we have FBA. I just have a hunch. I don't know for sure, but I just think they do. But either way will work, but FBA is going to be, to me, is going to be the best. And then your description, you want to make sure that that's all filled out, you know, with all of the benefits and the features. But again, I'm not going to sit here and talk about all optimization. Just all I'm saying is we want to look at the listings or the products that we're thinking that we might be able to source and sell. Are they doing everything top notch? And if they're not, then we have to make a note of that, and then we can do a better job when we launch. Now, what we want to do is dig one level deeper. Most people stop there and they go, okay, cool, I found a product, let's go, I'm going to source it. We need to dig deeper. We need to do some more research. We need to see if there's other products maybe that this one product could have led us to, okay? Now, we talked about this before, and someone had just asked the question, like, okay, so what do we do with the list? The list sometimes is just to get you started to dig down, and this is what I mean. So let's say, for example, we were looking at that acrylic compact organizer, and we're like, you know, it looks okay, but let's just see what else they're selling. We can click into that particular brand, and then we can see all of their products. So now we can see that this one search that I did, acrylic compact organizer, and then I clicked into the brand, it showed me all of their top selling, all of their best selling products, right? So now I can look at all of these and I can go, maybe I can go after the eyeshadow organizer. Maybe that one's better. It's got less reviews. It's only 161, but it's $13.49. Maybe not. Then you got another one. Maybe, oh, look at this one. We've got, you know, the acrylic palette organizer. Only got 165 reviews, sells for $23.35. Maybe that's one, right? So again, this is a way for me to dig deeper, not just look on the surface. So again, I broke this down. I used the Jungle Scout to kind of break this down for me, but basically you can do this all manually if you wanted to, but this is what it's doing. It's really sorting everything for us. So I circled the ones that I would kind of like, just kind of bring some attention to. You can see the top one, $18.48. It's got 1,297 sales with only 398 reviews. Not bad, right? We've got the next one is $23.35, 978 sales a month, 165 reviews. That's a pretty good one, right? And then the next one I highlighted here was $21.19, and 245 sales and 45 reviews. Now, this all looks good on the surface. You might be getting excited, but we got to dig deeper. And I'm going to show you what I mean. But this is, again, this doesn't require tools to do this. You can do this manually. You can get all those things. You can get the BSRs. The BSRs are just going to tell you the bestseller rank. That's going to tell you a rough estimate of sales. And I'll show you how we can kind of calculate that. But then what we want to do is we want to take this information and we want to start putting it into a spreadsheet, okay? And this is exactly what I did with my first product. I just started taking a very generic, just a really simple column separated little, you know, page here, and I just started filling in the blanks, okay? So product, the ASIN or link, so I could go back to it, the BSR, the bestseller rank, I record that, the reviews, the price, and then I gave it a listing quality. And the listing quality is really me just saying, I'm going to take off a point. So I'm going to give it a 4 instead of a 5 because the pictures can be improved. And then I might note next to that pictures, right? We're going to give you a download of this. Actually, it's nicer than this. This was just an example of a spreadsheet that actually has some calculating fields in there. So to kind of give you like a yay or a nay, we're going to give you that as well at the end as part of our downloads for you. So big question. Again, you guys are probably asking yourself too. All right, Scott, that's cool. I don't have any tool right now, and I don't really want to buy a tool. Okay, it's fine. I think eventually you'll want to, but let's say you don't want to. So what are the sales? How can I figure out what the sales are? Because I think we have to understand if it's getting 10 sales a day. It's a great question. So there's something that still works, and it's called the 999 trick, okay? And this is this is how it works. So pay attention right here. You guys are going to probably say, Scott, can you go back to that? I'm telling you right now, whatever you're doing, stop and look at this right here, because I know I'm going to get questions on this. Okay. And I'm going to try to do this a little bit slower. So step one is you're going to go to the page or the listing, and you're going to click on, like you're going to add it to the cart. Okay. So you're going to add it to the cart, and then you're going to go to your shopping cart, and you're going to see the quantity, and you're going to type in 999, and you're going to hit update. Okay. And now what's going to happen is it's going to probably say something like this. The seller has only 603 of these available. Okay. So now here's the other thing. If you don't see that and it says, okay, cool. Yeah, well, you can buy those. Then that means they have more than 1,000 in stock. And then that means this 999 trick isn't going to work. But if we're working with products that are low competition, they probably don't have 1,000 units in stock at all times. Okay. But if it doesn't work, you can't use this, but in most cases it will. So again, what you want to do now in step two is you want to record how many are available. Now, one little side note here, make sure you do this at the exact same time the next day. So record the time. If it's 12 o'clock lunchtime, PM, right? 12 PM, you're eating lunch, you do this. You come back the next day, okay? At the exact same time, and then you see how many's left. And it says, this seller has only 590 of these available, okay? So now what you would do, okay, is you would do some simple math. 603 the day before, 590 now equals 13 sold, okay? So 13 sold. We've basically figured out that there's 13 sold. Now, the one thing you probably want to do is make note of the BSR. If the BSR was 4,000, well, guess what? 4,000 in that category is probably around 10 or 13 sold. So now if you look at other products, you don't have to do the 999 trick. You can just go, oh, it's got a BSR of 4,000. They're probably selling 10 or 15 a day, right? So that's a way that you can start to understand that category, all right? So I know that that was a little different way of doing it, but it still works, all right? Now, if you use a tool like Jungle Scout, it does all that hard work for you, all right? And it kind of speeds up that process. But I know some of you say, well, I don't really want to invest in a tool yet. You don't have to. If you do want to invest in a tool, I do have a discount code that I can give you guys at the end if you're interested. But right now, just want to let you guys know you can do it manually. You don't need a tool. The tool does make it faster and easier, all right? So Chris, do we have any quick questions before we move on to the next step?
We do have a couple. When we're doing product research, why are we looking for products with only 200 to 300 reviews? Kathy wants to know. The answer is the fewer reviews, the easier it is to become relevant in terms of the number of reviews. So if they're lower than that 200 or 300 number, it's going to be fairly easy to compete with them with a very small launch strategy. You're not going to have to do a whole lot. You're not going to have to try to go get reviews and game the system and do any of those kinds of things. David also wants to know, he said, you know, when you start looking for products, how long does this process generally take? The answer there is it depends. Some people strike gold right away. Others, it takes a little bit of time. Generally, I would say it's going to take you a few hours to a few days to find some products, right? That even might be potential products. So if you don't hit it with the first one, don't worry about it. Even if it takes you 3 or 4 days to find one, even a week. Some people, it takes longer than that. I wouldn't give up. If you kind of get stressed out about it, take a step back, take a breath, maybe start the touch list again. That's exactly what happened with our friend Bill that we were talking about earlier. He had gone through his touch list and somebody else's touch list. He was about ready to give up, and then he had his wife do it. And it was like the second thing on their list, and they've been selling hundreds a day. So it's absolutely worth taking that step back and trying it again. AJ wants to know, Scott, what does the 999 trick show us? The answer is the first time, it just shows you how much it has in stock. The second time, when you run it the next day, you'll see how much are in stock the next day. So if they had 100 the first time and 90 the second day, you know that they sold 10 in that time period. Ben wants to know, Scott, how do you know if a product is too competitive?
Well, if it's too competitive, and again, we'll kind of go through that a little bit here with the depth. But you want to see if reviews. It's going to come down to the reviews. If you see that 10 or 15 different sellers have high reviews, that's going to be competitive. That means that there's other people. They're going after those spots, and that's competitive. So we want to kind of stay away from that. And the least amount of, or the less amount of reviews that you can find products that are still selling 10 a day, that's going to make it that much easier for you to start selling.
Yeah. The other thing with the 999 trick is you have to add it to your cart and then do the 999. A couple people said I tried it. It wasn't showing it to me. You have to add it to your cart, and then in the cart quantity, you can change it to 999. Not all products will show it if they have a max order quantity set, but a large number of them will. And this is actually how we used to have to do product research before tools like Jungle Scout. Scott, two other quick questions here before we move on to the next phase. Fritzy and a couple other people were asking, should we wait until the holidays are over to see, to do product research? My answer to that is no, but you do want to take the results with a grain of salt, right? If you're using something like Jungle Scout, and we talked a little bit about this in our live workshop last Friday that we do on Facebook Live. Jungle Scout does like a 12-month rolling average, I think. If Greg's listening, feel free to yell at me if I said that wrong. But they take a longer period of time than just today to factor in how many sales they're going to get. That being said, if it's a popular category like home and kitchen or health and fitness this time of year, moving into the first quarter, you're going to see a higher number of sales. So you do want to take that with a grain of salt. And that's why doing things like looking at Google Trends and keeping track of those products is going to help you. I would say do not do product research right now, right? Don't let it being close to Christmas stop you from doing product research, but just keep in the back of your mind that those sales might go down 15, 20% in the slower portions of the
And I think once we jump into this next step, you're going to see how we're going to be able to look back at history, and we're going to see what it's did.
Exactly. The other question that I wanted to jump into quick, Scott, is what do you mean by an optimized listing when they're looking at those competitor listings?
Yeah, optimized listing, and again, we can kind of touch on this later, but really it's talking about, does it have keywords in the title? Is it well optimized where you can easily find it by all of the keywords that are in the title or in the bullets? Does it have a good description written? Is the bullets talking about the benefits and the features? Are the pictures low resolution or are they high resolution? Is there one picture? Is there 8 pictures? 8 pictures would be optimized. 1 picture would be under optimized. So we just try to look at these different areas, and we say, does it have holes, or is it like, really, really well optimized? And that's what we look for. And if we find products that have low reviews and it's under optimized, to me, that right there's a no-brainer.
That's a double barrel gold mine right there. Baby. Yeah. That's everything you want to find. So.
And they're out there. They are out there. Trust me.
And they're definitely still there. But you're not going to find it with the first thing that you look at.
Yeah. All right. And that kind of leads us into, because some of them were asking, some people were asking, like, okay, so what about doing the product research now? Well, this is where this is going to come in. Okay. And this is step 3. And whether you're doing it in fourth quarter or you're doing it in the second quarter, you still want to run through step 3 here. And that's market validation. And you're looking at the depth, demand, and you're looking at the trends. All right. And this is a way to really protect yourself in a sense too, to not get fooled by a lot of sales in a certain time, or maybe someone did a promotion. Again, another reason why we don't want to go after products that have, a really high amount of reviews, because a lot of times they are doing promotions to get those reviews up, and then that you're going to be competing against that. You don't want to. So let's kind of dig into this right here. So depth, demand, and trends. Are there enough sales? That's your depth. How long have they been selling? Again, that's critical, because if you look, and I'll show you how you can see how long they've been selling, but if you don't know that, you may get fooled because they just did a launch and they just gave away 100 units or 200 units, and all of a sudden you think that they're doing really well, and they're not, right? So we're going to show you how to kind of not fall into that. Is this a trend? Again, I'll give you an example of what a trend looks like here in a minute. Does it sell outside of Amazon? I think that's something else that we should look at, and I'll give you another example of that in a second, but you want to definitely make sure it's not just Amazon, sales. That's it. You want to know that if you want to take it outside of Amazon, you can. There's a market outside of Amazon. And can we improve or differentiate the product? That's another big one. And we'll show you an example of that. So looking at depth and demand, again, this is not set in stone. But when we look at the numbers, whether you use a tool like Jungle Scout or you just use your own spreadsheet, you want to do this. You want to put these in order, okay? And these are listed in like 1 through whatever, 15 or 16, right? So we're going to look at the top 10 usually, top 8 or 10. So you can see here, the first listing has 838 sales, okay? And their BSR, their rank, is 2483. Their estimated revenue is $20,028. Okay, cool. So then we would just go down the list, all right? So we would say we can go all the way down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the 6th one, and they still get 343 sales, Okay. But then if you look down a little bit further, we see 46, 70, 45, and then 209 again, and then 258. So there still could be some depth down below, just not 300 sales a month, which would be 10 a day. But if the profit margin's there, it might not matter. Again, that's why I say this is not set in stone, but it still has a pretty good depth down to about the 6th or 7th. Okay. 6th, I think it is. Yeah, 6th or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6. Okay. So that's depth and demand. Okay. The depth and then the demand of the product. Now, mistake that people make is they're fooled by sales only from the first first, second, and third sellers. Okay. So there's no depth. It's top heavy. We call that top heavy. And what that would mean is in this case, if the top one was selling 1,500 and then the next one was selling, let's say 800, and the next one was selling 500. And then after that, it dropped right off and there was only like 10 sales, 15 sales, and maybe 20 down on the next one. The top 3 would be taking all of the sales. That means you have to compete in the top 3 in order to get sales. We don't want that. We want to see it more spread out. Okay. We want to see depth. Okay. And demand, meaning that even if you go down further in the list of sellers, there's still demand there for it. Okay. So the other thing that we look at is the reviews, like we talked about. So these are like the top, the top, again, like 15, I think it is here. So we have 221 reviews. We have 17 reviews. We have 162 reviews, 467 reviews, 1,321 reviews, 5 reviews, 13 reviews, 62 reviews, and so on. So you can see the only one that really stands out to me, there's 2 of them. There's the 467 and 1321. So then I would want to look at the one that has 162 reviews or the 221 reviews and say, okay, can I compete with them? All right. And that's what I would want to do there. So this is what we would look at if we were looking at this stuff side by side, as far as the sales and then the reviews. So we see 838 sales for the top one, right? So, and then the other thing that's kind of strange here is the one that has 1,461 sales, the one that I circled in red, that one there isn't the top one. So that makes me think that they're getting ranked for a different keyword. Okay, but that's for another conversation. But just understand that if we're looking at this right here, we see 838 sales with 221 reviews. Then we see 458 sales, 17 reviews. 293 sales, 162 reviews. See? And then we have another one down there. I circled 343 with 5 reviews. So those are ones that we'd say, those look okay. Like we might be able to compete with those. But, there's a big but here. We need to validate and verify that those numbers are not there because of a promotion that they just did. Okay. And that's a big mistake a lot of people do not make. So then what we're going to do is we're going to use a tool. It's a free tool called camel.com. I know it's a pretty funny name. Camel.com. Okay. There's another one too. I'll give you that in a second. But this one here works really well. Free. Just go over there. You copy the link to the listing and you copy it and you paste it in there and then you hit enter. And now you can set the range: 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, a year, and all. And then if you look down at the chart, you can see at the bottom, this particular seller started selling September 20th of 2015. Okay, it went back to a year. Okay, and you can see their price. This is their price that we're looking at. Price history is again something else you want to look at. It's pretty consistent, but they went up and down a few different times. But that's okay. But again, it gives us that data. Now, there's another one out there called Keepa. And Keepa works pretty much the same as Camel. It's very, very similar. Okay. So there's the 2 that if you guys want to jot them down, we'll give you the slide deck too, so you guys can have this, but there's camel.com and then Keepa.com. All right. So the other thing we want to look at in these tools is the sales rank. This is where if someone just started selling 3 months ago, you're going to see it here. Okay. And this is where you wouldn't fall into that trap. Now, this one here started selling September 20th, 2015. Okay. And now look at the BSR, the bestseller rank. That's their rank. It was kind of going up and down, but it might look a little worse than it really does because that was bouncing around between 2,000 and like almost 0 for BSR. Okay. That means throughout the entire year, I would take a 2,000 BSR in home and kitchen any day of the week, right? That's a pretty popular market. They're selling way more than 10 a day. Okay. So throughout the year, they're definitely doing sales. Okay. So that would make me say that's a pretty good one. If the numbers, if the review numbers matched, if the sales per month matched, the price matched, then I would have green light then. Okay. Now this would be a red flag. Okay, short history. Now, if I did that same thing and I looked down and I said, oh boy, they've only been selling since July 5th of 2016. And maybe I ran this in September. Okay, which you can see there, it goes from July 5th to September like 18th. Okay, it's not that long, right? That's what, July, August, and part of September. It's only almost a little over 2 months. That's not enough. And you can see the BSR, the bestseller rank, started at like 100 because they did a huge promotion. They kept pushing it for like a month, and then all of a sudden they stopped pushing it, and then look what happened. It just fell off the cliff. Now it's at like 49,000 BSR, hardly selling any. Okay? That's how you have to do this in order to look at the history so you don't fall into the trap by just looking at the front numbers. Okay? The other thing you want to do is look at a trend. Okay, and you can do this by using Google Trends. I used Garlic Press, of course, and you can see here, Garlic Press definitely has some highs. Okay, and this is going back all the way to September 25th, 2012. Okay, it's been pretty consistent throughout the years. They have a peak in December, which makes sense. It's fourth quarter. People are buying them for Christmas presents, I'm sure. But you can see it drops, but it doesn't completely drop off the shelf. So they're still selling some throughout the entire year. This would be okay with me. I'd be okay with that. Okay. Now, if we were looking at an extreme situation here, a snow shovel. You can see a snow shovel is definitely seasonal, right? You can see they're selling a bunch in probably December, January, February, but they're not selling any in July. Okay, not unless you're using that snow shovel for sand, right? So this is an extreme situation here, an example, but I wanted to show you that because that's what you do. You look at these trends. This is a free tool. Google gives it to us. So use it, okay? And just understand if it's seasonal or not. If it is seasonal and you want to go into a seasonal market, then go for it, but just understand you need to know this, okay? Now, the next thing in this step 3, in this part of this process is, can we improve the product, okay? Can we improve it? Here's how you can figure out if you can improve it. Another thing that Amazon gives us, whether you sell on Amazon or not, you should be using this tool to make better products, okay? Go in to the product that you're thinking about making better and look at all of the negative reviews, 3 stars or less, all right? And I'm just gonna read a few of these. Looks great, nice idea, but not that easy to use. Garlic ends up smeared over your hands and stuck inside the mechanism. Not dishwasher safe. Several of the blades came loose and or bent when I tried to put only the second clove through the brand new device. A couple more here. 3 stars. Not great for doing a single clove and difficult to clean, even with built-in cleaner. And then the next one is a 2-star. Metal blades bent first time I used Garlic Press. Okay. So how do we improve the product? Well, it's pretty easy. It's hard to clean. Got to make it easier to clean. The metal blades bent. Well, guess what? We need heavier blades. Not dishwasher safe. We need to make it dishwasher safe. Garlic smears. We need to fix that problem. Maybe have bigger holes. I don't know. We got to figure that out. And then quality is cheap. We need to make better quality. So these are things I just pulled out from that little kind of research, right? And then we'd reach out to our manufacturer and see if we can make it better. Then we would put into our listing all of these things that ours are doing better than our competition. We wouldn't necessarily have to call them out, but we could say ours is state of the art because most are hard to clean. Most have cheaper blades that bend. Most are not dishwasher safe. Most the garlic smears. Yours is going to be the solution to all of these. It's not going to happen to yours. Okay. So again, let's kind of recap here on this. It's really important you understand, yes, tools are great, but if you understand this part of it, it will make it so much easier for you. Okay. So follow the 3-step process. Here's the recap: product discovery, product criteria, and product validation. Everything I just covered there kind of goes deep into each one of those. Okay. You can see it's a process, right? It's not something that you're just going to wake up tomorrow and find that winning product. It's going to take some time. It's going to take some looking at different products and different things. Okay. You follow this process and you will find products. Okay. But keep in mind, the goal here is to launch your product on Amazon and start selling 10 units a day. That's what you want to do. That's what I want to do. And that's what I would love to happen to you as well. All right. I want you to remember something else. It's easier if you model what's working. It just is, guys. All right. I mean, think about Shark Tank again. They want to see things that are already working and selling in the market. And it's going to be that much easier to get you to that extra $100 per day or $3,000 a month if you model something that you know is selling 10 units a day or more. And then you just make it better, right? You don't have to guess. You don't have to be the inventor. If you want to invent something later, go ahead. But in the beginning, it's more risky. Okay. Now, this is is just part of the process. You guys know that. I covered the 5 phases before, right? The launch process. Product selection is number 1. It's where you need to start. You need to start there. And you may have already been through this whole process and you may need to go back there and start over again. And that's okay. Now, there's a lot of other things that happen here, but you don't have to worry about those right now, okay? But you will need to know these, okay? Like product sourcing, that's the next phase after phase 1. Phase 3 is the pre-launch phase. You'll need to do that, getting ready for the big day, big launch. And then the launch phase, that's another process. And then the promotion phase kind of leads or kind of gets led in from the launch. And that's where you start to promote that product and start to get sales, okay? But these you don't have to worry about right now. You need to worry about product selection and product discovery. Now, I got to ask you guys a quick question. Love this picture. Reminds me of my son who's 18 right now. I swear this looks just like him when he was that age and probably doing the same thing. But does it feel like I just sprayed you in the face with a garden hose with all this information? I mean, I understand there's a lot of information here, but I tried to make it as simple as possible. So this way here, you can take it and kind of chunk it down into certain phases and certain processes. So this way here at the end, you can have a pretty good idea if it's something that you want to take a chance on. All right. Now I get this a lot and I'll probably get it after this one. And I understand that because I'm out here helping, but then I get a lot of people say, Scott, will you do some private consulting with me, you know, one-on-one coaching or group coaching, meetups, masterminds, business partnerships, you name it. I'll get asked it. And you know what? I'm flattered. But I've turned all of these offers down. And the reason why is because I wanted to decide what was the best way to structure and teach this process. You know, I'm not one to just go out there and say, well, I think that will work. I got to actually see it. And I got to actually see other people doing it after I'm showing them. But also I got to understand that entire process. And my quick question to myself is always, what would have helped me when I started? And I always ask myself that question, like, what would have helped me? What would I have wanted? And my question right now is